Brakthia Howell, Brakthia Howell Shire, Brakthia Howell, Brakthia Howell Shire, Brakthia Howell, Brakthia Howell Bashim Yahweh Shire Bahashim, Rakakwadash. The blindness of the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone True Well. Salutations to the whole elect out there. You Akim, that's the Dakim that do this thing in the utmost truth and sincerity. I'm the priest Shimano. This is a quick, to the point, if you will, man. I only got really one scripture. I might jump around with a few precepts I put together, but I want to just go on the fact that a race war is pretty much inevitable, prophesied in the Bible. And a clear example of that is the prison system. When you go to prison, I'm talking about, maximum federal, what I'm saying, the higher level prisons. Gangs get thrown out the windows, youths get thrown out the window, and it's all about race, you know? So a race war is going to pretty much take place in America. There's scriptures to prove it. This is 2nd Ezra 15 out of the Apocrypha. The Apocrypha is a part of the 1611 King James version of the Bible, and the Apocrypha means sent away hidden. This is 2nd Ezra 15 and 14. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein. Destruction, to those that dwell in the world. We live in the world, but we're not part of the world. I'm talking about the elect. Those that are caught up in the world, hey, woe to you, man. All right. Verse 15. It says, for the sword and the destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. Now, verse 15 is pretty much the prison system. The only thing stopping 2nd Ezra 15 and 15 to take place on a full-scale event in prison is guards, security officers. Take away the guards and it'll be all-out chaos. Now, that scenario I just gave you is what you're going to see here in America. When the stock market crash, martial law is instituted, all complete hell breaks loose in here. And a disregard of law enforcement, people are going to throw their gangs and all this type of beliefs and shit out the window and just click up with those who look like them, honestly. By nature. You click to those that look like you. That's basic human instincts. Verse 16. For there shall be sedition among men and invading one another. People are going to be breaking in each other's houses, raping, robbing, pillaging. All out chaos is going to come here to America, man. And the prison system is a foreshadow of that, man. It's so bad in certain prisons, you could just pay the guards off. They pretty much got their own little government going on over there in prison, man. And it's going to be the same thing times 10 out here, because now it's not just going to be men and women separate. It's going to be men and women. So you're going to see prostitution come back. You're going to see people, human trafficking is going to be a norm. I'll give you this girl for some food and this, that. You know what I'm saying? That's why the scripture says a man shall be more precious than fine gold. Talking about a man that has this precious knowledge. Knowledge, wisdom, understanding to keep them safe in these times. Because I know women are very proud and independent and so-called fierce and strong and all that shit, but that's really because they could call 911. When all hell and pandemonium breaks out, logic is going to start to kick in that I'm not equal to a man. That's going to be the thought of a woman. When a guy is 6'5", 250 coming at you, you're not going to try to slap him while we're equal. No. Logic is going to kick in that this human being is superior. And what can I do to survive? So that's what's going to be happening out here in America, man. For there shall be sedition among men and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings. It says, nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. So cops, mayors, all that shit, nobody gonna give a fuck, man. All right? That's gonna be out the window too. It's gonna be all out pandemonium, man. And they show you that in movies like Children of Men. And you see this in the prison system, man. I'm telling you, the only thing that keeps together is the walls and the prison guards. When you locked up and when you watch this video, this dude, he just got into prison And right off the bat, they just took him in because he was white. Because who the fuck he's gonna click up with the blacks, so-called blacks? Even in the prison system, the tribes is split up, man. You got the so-called Mexicans and Latinos clicking up, but they don't click up with the so-called Native Americans, which are Gadites, and they so-called be beefing they with the beef with the so-called blacks, which are the Negroes, Latinos, which are the Negroes, which are the tribe of Judah. So even in the prison system, Israel is split up because they don't know their identity. And when all hell breaks loose, the tribes are going to be warned against one another. You know, the ones that don't know that they're Israelites, the so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, they're just going to be killing each other. It's going to be just like prison. They're not going to know that they're brothers. It says, "For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their action shall stand in their power." So, kind of like the Walking Dead, how pretty much humans clicked up and made parties, but really, in a more realistic sense, in a more prophetic sense, you're not gonna. It's gonna be really more like a race thing, man. That's all prison is about when it comes to clicking up. It's about race. It's not about no gangs. What you was out there. It's all about race. You know, and that's what they was breaking down in this thing, man. It's all about. And he's like, "Look, man, I don't want to get with them, and they don't want to get with me. I'm not playing the video because I don't want no copyright strikes. But there are faggots out there that might flag this video. Even though I'm not saying nothing offensive, the word faggot just means one who flags video. I made the word up. And I'm just bringing out the Bible. But you know what, man? A faggot's going to do what a faggot's going to do. It says, a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. So really, apart from the Bronx, I'm talking about here in New York City, all the boroughs are surrounded by water. You need bridges. And these different parts of in these different places that got borders set up, man, it ain't gonna be so easy to cross the border. You think the so-called Mexicans have a hard time crossing the border from Mexico to the United States? You're gonna have a hard time going from fucking New York to Connecticut, man. That's another way people are gonna click up. People are gonna click up based on race and how, where you from. It's gonna be just like that, man. It's just gonna be just like the prison system on a global level. Complete anarchy. This is what's coming, man. A race riot, a race war between the so-called blacks and the so-called whites and the so-called Spanish and all. However you want to divide it up. This is Amos chapter 3, verse 3. Can two walk together except they be agreed? So I know there's an idea out there of, let's all hold hands, and dance and fly together on a rainbow. But that's all fluff. That's not reality. The reality is, can two walk together lest they be agreed? And the first thing they're going to have to agree upon is, do you look like me? This is just the harsh reality of what's going to come, man. They're not going to want to know your background, and it just look, you know what I'm saying? And the crazy thing about it is you have confusion of faces right now. So like, confusion of face means shame face, but you have a complete confusion of nationality, if you will. What do I mean? You have so-called Israelites that look like white men, so-called white men. You have Edomites, or the so-called white people, that look like blacks and Latinos and Native Americans, because there's been a mixing. So you're gonna have Jakes killing Jakes and not even knowing, just going based off skin color. These are some of the things that's gonna come to pass, man. And you got racists out there on both sides of every spectrum that want to go out and kill another race. And when the whole hell breaks loose, when there's no cops, they're gonna have the power in their hands, as it says in the book of Ezra, man. And people are gonna act upon their emotions. They're gonna act upon their hates, and you're gonna see Mazel Tov cocktail bombs and shit being thrown. One neighbor that never liked another neighbor. One neighbor that know another neighbor got money. Stealing guns. Everybody gonna be yo. That's the spirit's telling me too, man. Weaponry is gonna be in this day one of the major form of commerce, man. Whether you could, whether you want to trade swords or cutlass or whatever, bullets, ammunition, that's gonna be a high value thing when all hell breaks loose, man. Nobody's gonna, I mean, gold is money, yeah, but nobody's gonna give you. Who you gonna kill with gold, man? How you gonna defend yourself with gold? In that day, nobody's gonna want all that shit. They're gonna want survival tools and instruments of defense. And you're gonna see makeshift guns and shit like that being a whole time rise, man, when all hell breaks loose. I'm saying that through the spirit, man. People are gonna be robbing gun stores. Gun stores owners are gonna be defending themselves and shooting dudes and taking their weapons. Things are gonna revert back to a chaotic prison-like state, man. Those, you know what? Those other scriptures are kind of going into something else, man. Going into Israel only. I want to leave it on the tone that, look, man, what you see in these federal prisons out there, man, is a foreshadowing of what's going to be in all of America, which consists of race riots. With that, I'm going to give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahushai, Ba'ashim Rakak Wadash. That belongs to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone True Well. And salutations to the hopeful elect out there. You Akim to Zadakim that do this thing in the utmost truth and sincerity. Shalom.